they said, look, he's already on a ventilator because his lungs are failing. He's on 3 different medications to keep his heart pumping. And now his kidneys are starting to fail. Do you want to start dialysis? So that's code word for, do you want to sustain his life? He's already on 2 different forms of life support. And so I, had power of attorney. We have a living will. And I knew that Tom had told me back when we did this, that if he was brain dead, that he would want to pull the plug, but he wasn't brain dead. His brain was alive. His body was failing. So I didn't know what he wanted to do. So that's when I had this conversation with him and asked if he wanted to live to squeeze my hand. And it was the most horrible conversation you'd ever have. I wasn't even sure if he could hear me, but after about a minute, he squeezed my hand really hard. And I thought, oh my God, now I need to take matters into my own hands. But before you hear about what, I did to save his life, and along with the host of other people who stepped up to the plate, ask Tom what was going through his mind when I asked him to squeeze my hand. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, Tom, were you cognizant of the question?
Well, first, let me just tell you the background of where I was. At that point, I was a snake. Hi there.
How are you?
Nice to see you. I know you already met Jesse before. Priscilla, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story.
So first thing is, where did you guys meet?
Well, the NIH, National Institutes of Health, have these things they call study sections where you review grants.
Right.
It's the last place on earth you'd go to meet somebody to form a partnership because it's all real nerds.
Right.
And here we were. That's where we met.
2 nerds.
That is so sweet. And just so you know, we work with them. We have many projects. We have a whole we do with them. We love them. And they're nerds. So we are all nerds.
So you guys were doing sciencey things together, but then you also like to go on vacation together. What kinds of places did you go before?
Just about any place you can think of. We've been to Rwanda to see the gorillas. And we've gone down to see the headhunters down in New Guinea. You name it, we've done it. It's we like adventure.
No, is it like those places you have to travel very far to get to them? Yeah. So, and a lot of them, there aren't roads or anything, right? So there might be roads, but it's not like you can take the airplane right to the place, can you?
No. And I think, a lot of the reason that we're able to do what we've done is that we do HIV research. And so we're in the vicinity. That is, we're in Africa already for a meeting. And so you can take a short hop over to Bamako, the capital of Mali. And then you can, make your way out to Timbuktu, for example.
So what brings you to Egypt? What brings you around to we're going to go do this trip? Was it the pyramids? How long ago was this?
Well, for me, it's always been an interest in the civilization, just to understand it. And, you've, like most of us, we've seen a lot of travel shows on it, seen the pyramids in pictures and all. So this was strictly a vacation. And that was in 2015 that we went. We usually go right around American Thanksgiving. And that's exactly when we went for this one a little later. We did it was a great time to go because there had just been a terrorist attack there. So there wasn't many.
See how he thinks?
It's
like, so there won't be one. There won't be one for a while.
Well, he thought that there would be no crowds, and he was right. I mean, we were on a cruise ship that was supposed to have 155 people on it. We were the only people there. I mean, I stood at the front of the boat and did that whole Titanic thing, and maybe that was foreboding of what was to come.
Okay, so the day before, you start to not feel well, what were you guys doing, and what happened? What were the events?
Well, the day before, we were on the Nile on one of these, they call them cruise ships there. They're these big barge things, multi-story. And we had landed in Luxor, which is right across from the Valley of the Kings. We went in Luxor, there's a lot of sights to see, and we went around there and temples and whatnot. And that evening, they had a special meal for us, all of seafood, which I love. And we had brought a special bottle of wine along for ourselves. And so we're up on the top of this this ship and the starlight and everything is beautiful. And looking across to the other side of the Nile, you could see the Valley of the Kings there. And then we went to bed and I woke up and I was as sick as a dog. I mean, I just couldn't stop throwing up. And Steph thought that I had food poisoning, and I've gotten sick on a number of trips with different bugs. And so, you don't think a lot of it. It's not pleasant, but it's one of those times when you don't think that the worst is going to happen. Mm-hmm. But after about, 12 hours of throwing up, Steph said, hey, I'm calling a doctor, which I wasn't really anxious to see happen in Egypt, I must say. Mm-hmm. Not to say Egypt is a horrible place or anything, but where we were, there wasn't like a modern infrastructure, and I wasn't real confident. Not that I've ever really pleased with doctors in general.
No, Tom, at that point, you're sort of not feeling well, but Steph, now you're having to sort of take responsibility and make these decisions. What's going on in your mind? I mean, because food poisoning, you're going, well, wait a minute, this isn't acting like food poisoning, or what are you thinking?
Well, I mean, so my training is in infectious disease epidemiology. I have a rusty old degree in microbiology. And of course, since he'd just had a seafood meal and we're on a ship, we're right next to the Nile, that was what I thought of right away. And because he had vomiting and distended abdomen and everything, I was thinking, okay, this makes sense. But then he started complaining of back pain. Well, and I knew, hey, wait a second, this doesn't add up. So I contacted the head of infectious diseases back home at our university, UC San Diego, and I asked him what he thought. And he said, well, it could be food poisoning, but it could be worse. It could be a twisted bowel or something else. You need to get him to the closest hospital as soon as possible. So I just overruled Tom, said, sorry, Chip is the doctor. It's his fault. You can blame him later, but we don't want to just let this go. And we were supposed to leave the next day. And it turns out we didn't go anywhere except to the closest clinic because there was no hospital in Luxor.
So you went to the clinic. Now, we do a lot of work with doctors. We're not doctors, obviously, but one of the things, I'm always seeing we work for a lot of patient advocate groups, is trying to get the right diagnosis. So what do you think? You're at the clinic, maybe they don't have the right equipment, or do they have the right equipment?
Or just tell us what happened, because I don't know the whole story.
So essentially we got there in the middle of the night. They woke up, a gastroenterologist and a whole bunch of other doctors, and within an hour they diagnosed him with pancreatitis, an inflammation of the pancreas, because his lipase levels were 3 times normal. And so I thought, okay, great, we know what it is. Now we know how to treat it, right? Well, when I called back to my colleague Chip Schooley at UC San Diego, he said, well, that's just a symptom of a larger problem. We need to find out why he has pancreatitis. Now, a lot of people who are heavy drinkers get pancreatitis, but Chip knows that I drink more wine than Tom. That wasn't going to be the source of the problem. So it turns out, they did have a CT scan at a clinic in Luxor, and he was able to get a scan the next day, and they didn't tell me what they saw. But right after that, they helped us get him medevaced out of there, because whatever they saw, they didn't like. And it turns out, we found out later, it was an abscess the size of a small football. And it had been there because of a gallstone that had lodged in his bile duct and caused this abscess to form. And he'd been walking around with it for quite some time. But in Egypt, somewhere along the line, it could have been in the clinic, could have been somewhere else, a superbug moved into that abscess, found a nice little apartment for itself. And that we didn't find out about the superbug till he was medevaced to Germany.
Okay, so that superbug, you call it a phage?
No, the phage was actually the medicine. A superbug is a bacteria that's resistant to multiple antibiotics. So in this case, it was resistant to 15 different antibiotics right off the top, and only partially sensitive to a couple.
So you go to Germany.
Yeah.
Now you're feeling better because you have a diagnosis and you've been able to get medevaced out.
I'm feeling better, but he's feeling worse. And they put us in the ICU in full PPE, like gowns, gloves, everything.
But is Tom, are you conscious at this point? Or
I'm in and out of consciousness at this point. Okay. I'm having hallucinations, and I had actually started hallucinating while we were still in Egypt.
Oh, what was going, and how were they, first of all, what were the hallucinations? And at that point, how are they treating you? What are they giving you? Because they're just keep trying different antibiotics, or they don't even know yet. What What was happening medically?
There's two questions.
What's happening to you? Yeah, to you first. What were you?
Yeah, I mean, first, it's terrifying being in a clinic where people, except the doctor, nobody spoke English. So the nurses in their full jobs and all, and they can't communicate with you, and doctor's not there. You need to go to the bathroom or something, you can't. But I was in and out of consciousness, or at least I was hallucinating while I was in Egypt. There, I thought El-Shabaab had taken me captive, and that they were planning to kill me, and that, they were in the next room, and this colonel was coming to get me, all of this paranoid thoughts. Then, I kind of came out of that, and, they put me in the plane. It isn't the kind of a plane that you see in the movies where, nice and spacious, a big cargo hold and everything. This is a little tiny plane where they jam you up into the luggage rack while they take you back.
Steffanie, are you on that flight, or are you?
Yeah. How long a flight is that, by the way?
It was about 9 hours. I was on the flight, this particular one, with him, and I didn't sleep at all. I mean, there was no place for like anything. I mean, my feet were jammed up under my chin, and he was actually hallucinating in Germany that there were hieroglyphics on the walls. Asked me to put my hand up against the wall, so and he could see them through my hand. So right then, I realized that he was getting really, really sick.
Mm-hmm. Now, so in Germany, what's the process there? Do they start to, because now you have a good team, they're trying to get to the root of the problem.
Yeah.
And what happens there? You're trying all these different antibiotics, they're not having an effect.
Well, first, what they did was they did an endoscopy to see what was causing this, and they saw this abscess, and they saw that there was this putrid fluid in it that, if it had just formed, that fluid would have been clear. So they knew that something was growing in it, because when they see this brownish, yellowish, fulminating stuff. So they cultured that, and they came back a couple days later and said, look, we've got bad news. This is the worst bacteria on the planet. It's called Acinetobacter baumannii. Its nickname is Iraqibacter because so many vets were coming back from the Middle East and Afghanistan with this bug in the early 2000s. And it's prone to multi-drug resistance. And so unfortunately, there were very few antibiotics that it was sensitive to, and those were all like what I call the gorillicillins. They have to be infused into you and have a lot of side effects associated with them, but that's all that there was that they could do.
Tom, are you aware of this at this point, or are you unconscious at this point?
I'm pretty much unconscious at this point. I mean, there's snippets of time for the next couple of months where I'm aware, but in terms of treatment and understanding what's really going on, I'm out of it. And Steph is making all the decisions.
So this is basically a death sentence, right?
At that point, when they said he had pancreatitis, I looked it up and I was reading about it. And when pancreatitis with complications, that mortality rate could be 50%. Not that scared me, but turns out the complications he had, it was actually more like 90%. So I summoned his daughters to Germany, and they were with him, and they were able to stabilize him. But then they realized that with this superbug infection, that is the problem. And so they said, okay, he's going to be in the hospital for months. It's like having a motor vehicle accident that's very serious. So, they said this recovery is going to be months and months. So let's get him home.
Well, if you're lucky.
Yeah, that's right. So now, it took 7 ambulances and 2 Learjets to get him home. That Learjet from Germany back home, he had to be on by himself with the medical staff because there was no room for me. So I didn't know if I was even going to see him again. It was that horrible.
Now, Steph, you are by training an AIDS researcher. So, this plane ride back, from Germany alone, essentially, where is your mind? What point does your analytical mind kick in and you start to think about the literature and what can be done? Because you're told essentially that there's no hope. So what do you do?
Yeah, well, I still had hope at that point because I thought as soon as we get him home to UC San Diego, we have some of the best infectious disease doctors around. So if it isn't so much the pancreatitis that's taking him down, but it's the superbug, we're going to be in the best place for it. And I had every confidence that they could help. But by the time we got him home, so this is now right before Christmas of 2015, so he'd been in the hospital about 3 weeks, that bacterial pathogen that had initially been sensitive to 3 different antibiotics. Now it was fully resistant to all of them. So here we are, despite all the infection control procedures and being in the ICU with gloves and gowns and masks and everything, it still acquired more resistance. And so they had hoped to operate on him to take the abscess out of his abdomen. And they said, we can't operate. He'll die. We have no antibiotics if this bacteria gets into its bloodstream. So they poked holes into his abdomen, put drains in there, and hoped that it was going to, siphon out all that infected fluid. So, that was now a couple of months of waiting for this thing to shrink. And unfortunately, it just kept spreading and spreading. And then one day, one of those drains slipped inside him, poured all that infected fluid into his bloodstream, into his abdomen, and he immediately went into septic shock right in front of me, which was the most terrifying thing I've ever seen.
Whoa.
Okay. So, and Priscilla recently had an experience
not like this, Tom, but just an undiagnosed staph infection that they had to go in and pull it out, and then it kept going. It went from my knee to my calf, whatever. So I can't even imagine this, and I had the PICC lines and like all of it.
Yeah.
But so I wanted. Okay, so then what? How do you get?
So when do you? Because look, that could happen to me or Priscilla. That did happen to Priscilla. But when does your superpower kick in, and how does it manifest itself?
Well, I guess what happened was after Tom was fully colonized with this bug, because the drain had slipped, he was dying a little bit each day. And the doctors, who were my friends, Tom's friends, nobody wanted to tell us that he was dying until it became pretty obvious. And they said, look, he's already on a ventilator because his lungs are failing. He's on 3 different medications to keep his heart pumping. And now his kidneys are starting to fail. Do you want to start dialysis? So that's code word for, do you want to sustain his life? He's already on 2 different forms of life support. And so I, had power of attorney. We have a living will. And I knew that Tom had told me back when we did this, that if he was brain dead, that he would want to pull the plug, but he wasn't brain dead. His brain was alive. His body was failing. So I didn't know what he wanted to do. So that's when I had this conversation with him and asked if he wanted to live to squeeze my hand. And it was the most horrible conversation you'd ever have. I wasn't even sure if he could hear me, but after about a minute, he squeezed my hand really hard. And I thought, oh my God, now I need to take matters into my own hands. But before you hear about what, I did to save his life, and along with the host of other people who stepped up to the plate, ask Tom what was going through his mind when I asked him to squeeze my hand. It'll blow your mind.
Yeah, Tom, what were you cognizant of the question?
Well, first, let me just tell you the background of where I was. At that point, I was a snake. And I mean, seriously, I believe that I was a snake. And in my mind today, I remember being a snake. And I'll tell you why I was a snake. It's because they had put a bronchoscope, which is this segmented big snaky looking thing down my throat. And when that went in, I started thinking it was a snake. People were standing over me saying, futile, he's going to die. Friends are coming in, they're talking and telling me all their most sacred secrets because they thought that I couldn't hear. And guess what? I could hear, but
did that promote some awkward conversations later?
Yes, a little bit. That's a message for others to, when you're in a coma, you may be able to hear. I certainly could, not every single word.
Yeah.
But I could. And I was then in my muddled state of, having all these toxic chemicals from the infection and the medications and lack of sleep. I'm hallucinating, and I'm taking what I have seen in the environment and hearing and turned it into a coherent story for myself. So I was being filmed for a documentary on death.
Is what he thought. And he thought that snakes don't have hands, so how is he going to squeeze my hand? He's telling me this a month later, right?
Wait, we still have to get to going from the thing through in your mouth to how you knew you were a snake.
Well, by the time it went into my mouth, I saw it was a snake. People are talking to me about I'm dying. So then I started thinking I must be a snake. And then I got this documentary idea going. And then Beatles music started playing because they were playing music for me in the room. So it was all kind of scratchy music in the background. And people were coming to study me and filming
Okay.
me in my bed.
Okay, let me ask you a question though. As a snake, though, did you remember your life as a human? Did you remember that you had children? Like, did you see the people that were coming in to do the confession to the father, Tom? Like, did you know them from your pre-snake life?
Yes, I knew who they were. I knew people came in. I knew, one of my friends, a statistician, had read some stuff about blood values and when you're approaching death. And he was talking to his wife over me and saying, oh, I mean, this reaches this point, it's beyond return. He's going to die. And he's already gotten to that point. So,
So you could
Are
hear
you
him telling
are
his
you
wife
still
that.
are you still close with him, or have you gotten a little more distant?
Oh yeah, I'm still friends. I mean, hey, nobody. So Steph asked me this question,
Yeah.
do I want to live? And I'm thinking, well, of course I want to live. Problem is, she says, squeeze my hand. Well, I don't have any hands to squeeze. I'm a snake. I only have a body. So it took me a minute to figure out how to wrap my body around her hand. I didn't realize how strong I was as a snake.
It was really, it explained something because it explained how long it took. But then he squeezed really hard, right? Because he said that he was wrapping his tail around my arm to squeeze it out. He's telling me this months later. I thought he was friggin' nuts.
I,
Anyway.
I just want to say for the people watching this, they're going to want some of what you had to have the LSD hallucination.
Yeah. I tell you,
So,
it
I
isn't
don't-
the same. It's
Yeah.
not the same.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
What are your daughters thinking at this point? Are they at the hospital too?
They're in and out. I was fortunate, and I think it's really important that people realize, even when you're in a coma, to have people near you and talking to you. I think it helps you maintain your cognitive. I know it sounds like my cognition was pretty screwed up, and it was, but I think I've recovered pretty well. And I attribute that to the fact that somebody was by my bedside almost every minute. And if they touched me, even with gloves on, it kind of felt like I was getting power from them. It was just an amazing thing to have. So they were supportive. My one daughter was singing to me. The other one was reading bird books. I'm a bird watcher. And so she was reading descriptions of birds to me. And
Yeah.
Students and whatnot are coming in and talking to me about their research problems. And then, of course, I'm Father Confessor, having to listen to all of their sins.
Yeah, but then he became the experiment, right? Because I went home and I hit the internet, and the National Library of Medicine has a search engine called PubMed, and I found that what ended up being sure.
So, but are you thinking, okay, wait a minute. I mean, what's your thought process? He's saying he wants to live. What's your thought process? You're going to go home and you're going to attack this problem, but you've been sort of thinking about the experts at this point, and now you're going, well, wait a minute. I got to go beyond this if I'm going to have an answer.
Yeah, I mean, basically, when my colleagues said that there was nothing else that they could do, I believed them, but I wanted to know that I had left no stone unturned. If he died, that I had exhausted all possibilities. So I hit the internet and was looking for alternative treatments and put in, alternative treatments for multi-drug resistant Acinetobacter baumannii, and up pops this paper.
Explain what PubMed is, because PubMed has an almost dizzying amount, or it is an actually dizzying amount of things. And so, you're an expert at looking at this. So just explain what PubMed is.
People are familiar probably with Google Scholar, right? Google has lots of different kinds of search engines. And PubMed is one that the National Library of Medicine, which is part of the NIH, developed. It includes published medical literature, and you can put in any keywords. It's open to the public and do a literature search. And so I knew how to do a literature search. I didn't know what the answer was going to be or if I was going to find one, but I found a paper that mentioned something called bacteriophage therapy or phage therapy.
When was this paper written?
The paper was written in like 2014. And there were a couple of other papers too that had talked about phage therapy for bacterial infections in humans. But what was interesting is that phages had been discovered in 1917, way before penicillin was even discovered. So it's been around for a long time. And in fact, The former Soviet Union has been using phage therapy for decades. It's just that it had become forgotten in the West when penicillin came on the scene. And then phage was considered Soviet science and, pinko commie science. And there was a real geopolitical bias that kind of pushed it to the fringes.
So in a simple way, what is phage therapy?
Well, bacteriophage, or phage for short, are viruses that have naturally evolved to attack bacteria. They are the natural predators of bacteria. So for every prey, there is a predator. And for bacteria, they're the most scared of is bacteriophage. So they are viruses, and you can think of them as little parasites. They're 100 times smaller than bacteria, so you can't see them with the naked eye. And we know now that they're the oldest, most populous organism on the planet. They've been around for almost 4 billion years, co-evolving with bacteria. So it's like a miniature arms race between bacteria and phages. When, phages are why bacteria develop CRISPRs, which are part of their immune system. And people will have heard of CRISPR because it's now being used as a gene editing tool. But phage then they're anti-CRISPR. So it's kind of like they're dueling it out, right? But we just can't see it. So we know now that there's like 10 million trillion phages on the planet. There's like 30 billion phages that move in and out of our body every single day as the gatekeepers to keep the bacterial numbers in check in our microbiomes.
But how do you get the right one, the phage, to match the bug?
Hold on, because the first thing is, so you find this article, now you go back to, to the hospital and you're going to explain to them that you want to try this phage therapy.
Yeah.
And what kind of conversation is this,
Well, the first thing I did was to write Chip Schooley, the same infectious disease doc that I'd reached out to way back in Egypt, and he'd been involved in Tom's case. And he's a colleague of ours, and he was the head of the infectious disease program at the time at UC San Diego. And I said, what do you think of phage therapy? I know it's like considered fringe, but we're running out of solutions. And he said, what an interesting and intriguing idea. If you can find phage that will be a match for Tom's bacterial isolate, I'll call the FDA and see if they'll give us permission to use it on a compassionate basis. So that's the question that Priscilla just asked. How are you going to find these phages? Because it turns out that it isn't just any phage that will attack any bacteria, right? It's like a lock and a key. They have to be able to bind to a receptor on the bacterial cell wall and then turn it into a phage manufacturing plant. So if you have the wrong phages, it's not going to do anything. The body will just filter it out and nothing will happen. But if you have the perfect predator, as you will, of the phage that will attack that bacteria that you want to eliminate, then they just keep multiplying as long as there's that bacteria that is still present. And then once they've done their job, they just leave. The body filters them out. So, and they only kill that bacteria they're matched to, unlike antibiotics that will kill the friendly bacteria in our microbiome. So it's a beautiful concept. And of course, I'm burning the midnight oil, catching up on all of this old virology that I'd heard of, but I never knew it had been used as medicine. And I got really excited, but I was very daunted by the fact that I needed to find the right phages to kill Tom's bacteria.
So how did this particular phage was found in a very unusual place, but how did you even figure out where or what to look for?
Well, I went back to PubMed and I made a list of researchers that were studying phage and the bacteria that he had, and I wrote them cold. And one of them got back to me from Texas A&M University, Dr. Rai Young, who had been studying phages for over 40 years and was hoping that phage therapy would come back to the West, and thought, well, here's somebody who looks like they might be able to cut through the red tape to make this happen. So he agreed to turn his lab into a command center.
Because the FDA doesn't approve phage therapy at this point?
Well, that's because the clinical trials to show that it works have never been done.
Okay.
And so it's because it was really abandoned as a treatment regimen, except for the former Soviet Union and parts of Eastern Europe, where they never did the trials either, but there it's standard of care. Mm-hmm. So here it's considered experimental. And Dr. Young reached out to researchers all around the world. We had offers of phage from Switzerland, India, Belgium, Georgia, you name it. But also they looked to environmental samples in their own lab. And you know what those were, eh? Can you imagine where you find a lot of phage?
Tell us, please.
Well, the best place to find phage is where there's a lot of bacteria. There's a lot of bacteria in sewage. There's a lot of bacteria in like poop. animal poop from the barnyards, from swamps. So basically, my husband is full of shit. You know, we
Punchline.
No
but
Name
it's
of this
still, but
episode.
still, you're looking all around the world, but you're not necessarily finding the right phage
Well,
for
they
your
took
problem.
him only a couple weeks at Texas A&M with one PhD student sleeping in the laboratory, and she found 4 phages that were a match. And when Dr. Schooley called the FDA, expecting that he'd have to explain to them all about what phage therapy was, they knew all about phage therapy. They were looking for a case like Tom's, a patient who's dying, a family member who's willing to take the risk, a physician who's willing to oversee it, a phage community that is willing to kind of step up to the plate to find phage to match, and a hospital that is willing to kind of, you know, put the litigation worries aside. And so they found everything they wanted in Tom Patterson, is what we were told. But meanwhile, they knew that the Army and the Navy were working on phage as well. And so they put Dr. Schooley in touch with the Army and the Navy, and the Army said, no way are we getting involved in the treatment of a civilian. The Navy commander, Lieutenant Commander Theron Hamilton, he said, you got his bacterial isolate? And Chip says, yeah. He says, send it to me. We've got about 100 Acinetobacter baumannii phages that we have sourced from the bilges of ships from all around the world. And, you know, maybe we will be able to find something. So he basically turned his lab into a command center too. They found 4 phages that matched. And then he got in trouble because he had done this without asking permission first. And it almost was kiboshed. But a retired captain who was also an MD said, don't you realize that we would jumpstart the field by 10 years if this works, and we will save this guy's life? And better than that, we will beat the Army. Well, that's what did it. It convinced them to get involved. So now we had 2 phage cocktails that were prepared within 3 weeks.
Now, are you fighting that battle yourself? Like, are you having to go speak down at the Army and Navy to do that? Are you,
well,
I mean,
Dr. Schooley handled that part. You know, he was the direct liaison with the Navy. I was involved in some of those discussions. I was a main point of contact with the Texas team, but Dr. Schooley helped out there too. And of course, we had to get lawyers from the universities involved because they had to make sure that I would sign some kind of consent form that would, you know, if the patient died, that I wouldn't sue and all of that stuff. But we were able to cut through all that red tape. So from my very first email to the date that we were ready to administer phage therapy to Tom was only 3 weeks.
Now, during that time, do you have a posse around you that's helping you emotionally? Because this is quite a journey you're on.
Yeah. Believe me, I mean, Tom's daughters were invaluable. I had friends. I had a psychic up in Toronto who was.
Thank you. I'm glad you had a psychic helping you. Jesse might not agree with that, but
yeah, we had a healer that Tom had dealt with in Encinitas who came to the hospital and lay his hands on Tom and said to me, "My God, whatever it is," he's like, it's like an anthill. He said he could kind of sense the bacteria like eating him alive. And so, anyway, I mean, whether you believe in any of that,
Tom was a snake, you know, he wasn't a.
Yeah, he was a snake.
He wasn't an ant. You know what I mean?
Well, he was a lot of things, but
is it that the bacteria, presumably, we don't know where he picked it up, but maybe he picked it up in the Middle East, but we don't know, right?
We know that it was an Egyptian strain. It was sequenced later, but we just don't know where he got it in Egypt.
But so this is to the phage is like everywhere, right? So you have to get the phage from that. In other words, it's got to be the phage that is eating that particular virus in that part of the world. Okay, I just want to clarify.
Okay, so is it geographic stuff or is it?
Well, I mean, there's some geographic aspects. I mean, Dr. Young even asked me if I had soil on the bottoms of our boots from Egypt that he could use to try to source phage from. And we didn't. But, you know, the sad thing about superbugs is that they spread. They're everywhere. So the phage exists wherever the bacteria exist.
So 3 weeks later, what do you get? You get a vial of, you get a jar comes, or what is it?
It was basically a plastic sack that was full of phage.
And it shows up, now, are you going to just take a syringe of it and put it in his arm? Like, how does it work?
Well, that's the part that Dr. Schooley had to figure out, because nobody had really had experience with intravenous administration of phage. And that was one of the innovations of Tom's case, because the feeling was that because the bacteria were everywhere in his body. They weren't just in the abscess in his abdomen anymore. It was in his blood, it was in his saliva, everything. So a researcher who used to work at the NIH, who since retired, Dr. Carl Merrill, convinced Dr. Schooley that we would need to infuse the phages into his bloodstream. And that was the scary part because, the phage preparation is made from bacteria and phage duking it out and multiplying, and then the bacteria die. And the debris of the dead bacteria creates something called endotoxin, and that can be poisonous. We've heard of toxic shock, right? So that's what, so we didn't know if that was going to happen if we were injecting phage, 1 billion phages per dose into Tom. But we felt that it was the safest thing to do, because if there was a hidden reservoir of bacteria that the phage didn't reach, then the bacteria would have the chance to become resistant to the phage. And that would be worse because we didn't have any phage left. So that's what we did. We first put the phage into the catheters in his abdomen, waited 24 hours, and that it seemed to not cause any ill effects. And then we got the Navy phage and we injected those into his PICC line. And just prayed. And
that's terrifying. I just want for the audience to understand, that is, for people who don't know what it is, it's the IV that goes right near your heart, and you're just injecting shit into his body. And because there's no case study, we don't know what is happening here. You could kill him immediately. You don't even know.
That's right. And that was the scariest part for me, because Tom's daughters are my stepdaughters, right? And I had power of attorney. And even though they were willing to trust me, and on one level, we all knew that he was within hours of dying. But if it was something that I did, that I chose, that killed him, I would never have been able to live with myself. But I just had to do it. I knew that Tom was a risk taker. I knew in my heart that he would choose to do this. And luckily, like a couple of days later, he lifted his head off the pillow and kissed his daughter's hand. Everybody freaked out. Nobody thought this was going to happen.
So you do it. Now, at first you're just going like, okay, it didn't kill him. At what point do you know that something positive is happening?
Well, it was gradual over the next couple of days. It was 3 days after we started injecting the phage into him that he woke up. But you could tell his hemodynamics, as the doctors call it, the different signs, like his blood pressure, his heart rate, different signs, within his blood. His white blood cell count immediately went right up after he began the phage therapy, but it went right back down. So, and his kidney, I signed the consent form for kidney dialysis the day that we started phage therapy. He didn't need it. His kidney creatinine levels, they hung on, and then they started to go down. So everything was trending in the right direction, but we still didn't know for sure until he woke up.
Now, who was there when he woke up?
His daughter, Carly, his eldest daughter. And she came home from her shift, because we all took turns working, like going to the hospital. So he was never alone. She told me that he woke up, and I was like, what? And then I said, well, I've got to get to the hospital. And she goes, oh no, he's asleep now. And I said, asleep or in a coma? And she goes, no, he's really asleep.
Snoring.
So I went the next morning, and of course he went right back into septic shock again. And we thought the phage was killing him, but it was another bacteria that had entered his bloodstream because his gut was so scarred up. So that was another thing, like, okay, we had to show that it was that, treat that with antibiotics, and then we started the phage therapy again. So it was a roller coaster ride. Let's put it that way.
Now, Tom, do you remember waking up?
I remember waking up. That specific moment, I remember there was a gradual awakening over the course of the next few weeks. It was not like in the movies. You don't wake up and say, hey, I'd like a hamburger I haven't eaten for months.
Right.
For me, it was somebody would say something and it would trigger a whole series of memories. It was as if they were there in dormant, and that set off those memories. So Steph brought in a picture of literally when I was probably about 4 years old, a little girl who lived next door. She had won some contest for Little Miss Sunbeam bread. And I remembered everything about that moment, with her and So I begin to blab about that and, the childhood times, and then somebody else come in and start talking about surfing, and I'd remember waves and learning to surf.
You said it was just like a string of Christmas tree lights that you turn on one light and then it lights all the other lights. Like I can see the neural like synapses almost, connecting as a result of these triggers. It was amazing.
I have a question, Tom. When you were, the moment where you sort of woke up that first time, was it a snake waking up, or was you still, or that was gone, that part of the story?
That story, that was gone at that time. Yeah, it faded away. It wasn't,
Right.
it just, I was a person again. And
So
I don't, it wasn't, it was sort of a gradual thing. You don't shed the scales, drop the scales from your eyes, so to speak. You
Right.
just suddenly,
now, Steph, at what point do you realize, okay, he's on the road, it's getting better,
Well, it took a while because he'd had so many like bumps in the road. Like he had 7 cases of septic shock that I counted. And so, I kept asking, is this it? Are we sure he's going to live? And both, our friend Davey, who is another doc, and Chip were both said, okay, well, we think so, but, like we're not 100% sure. So it wasn't really until he left the hospital that I knew for sure. That was August of 2016. So he was in the hospital a total of 9 months. But honestly, he was only on phage therapy for a month, and he cleared his infection on his own after 3 months. So his own immune system was able to kick in and finish the job. So he doesn't have this superbug anymore, and it's long gone, and it's happy to see it in the rearview mirror.
Yeah, but I think it's important to know that, you come home and it's not like you walk through the door. I was so wasted. I had lost, most of the muscle mass that I had. I learned when you wake up after being in a coma and you've, been on a vent and everything, I had to learn to talk. I had to learn to swallow. I had to learn to walk. And, your strength is gone completely. In a wheelchair and, hospital bed in the front room here for a while. After a couple of weeks, the hospital bed disappeared, but it took months. In fact, it's supposed to take as a rule of thumb, 5 times as long as you've been in the hospital to recover. So, basically 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
And I think it was longer. I still find myself recovering.
Yeah.
Now, Steph, this change the course of your career? Like you decided you were going to get much more involved with this phage therapy, so what was the thinking? Because you were already running an NIH lab. So what happened afterwards? How did this change what you wanted to do?
Well, once we realized that other patients' lives were being saved as a direct result of Tom's, we decided to write a book. So that's The Perfect Predator, a scientist's race to save her husband from a deadly superbug. And we also opened up a phage therapy center at UC San Diego. Our chancellor gave us some seed money. So Chip Schooley, the doctor that I've been talking about that oversaw Tom's case, he and I co-direct and co-founded this. So he oversees the clinical side. I'm more of the administrator, fundraiser, advocate, science communicator. And we do a lot of public speaking, as you can tell. I have to give another talk today, so my voice is a little raspy. We talk to students. We talk to patients. Our story was on CNN this past weekend. So we've had just a deluge of patients contacting us for help, and from all over the world. So it's really changed the way we live, the way we think, the way we are as a married couple. I mean, every day is a gift. We know how privileged we were to have the resources and the connections that we had to save Tom's life, and not everybody has that. So we're trying to make it easier for phage therapy to be available, and that involves getting clinical trials done.
Yeah, that was my question to you. Honestly, this wouldn't have happened without both of your kind of brilliance. You're already in this field, and your connections, your persistence, your feel, like all of this story is remarkable. And then all of the people who might have this that do not have any, that's what I kept, I had resources to kind of problem solve and keep going.
And actually a great surgeon who made the difference for her.
My surgeon diagnosed it after there were a lot of missteps and a lot of things.
Yeah.
So I had an abscess where the staff got in, whatever. And so, but for those who don't have the resources, what can be done? Because this is like I mean, this would just have killed anybody else.
Yeah, but well, I mean, the field has moved forward pretty quickly, not as quickly as having 4 COVID vaccines in a year, but nevertheless, the NIH has invested in clinical trials. There's clinical trials going on in Western Europe and Australia. There's other phage therapy programs now in the US. Baylor, Yale University, the Mayo Clinic has one, Belgium, France, and Australia. So we're going to see this field move, and as these trials get done, then regulatory agencies like the FDA can license phage therapy alongside antibiotics so that they'll use less antibiotics and more natural products like phage, so that we can hopefully get ahead of the superbug crisis, because it's a scary silent pandemic that one person every 3 seconds is going to be dying from a superbug by the year 2050 if we don't do something drastic to turn it around.
So, Steph, if we just dream for a second, there's a lot of disease states that we don't know if they're bacterial or not. Like cancer could be considered a bug, like Alzheimer's could be considered a bug. Is there clinical trials to try and understand, and maybe is phage therapy possible for more than just superbugs?
Yes. In fact, one of the other innovations in Tom's case, because we know that injecting 1 billion phages per dose every 2 hours into somebody didn't cause any side effects, and we haven't seen any side effects when we treat intravenously in other patients. It's led to this whole view of nanomedicine, where phage can be used as little nano shuttles, if you will, to carry cancer therapeutics or vaccines. So that whole field is exploding as well. And the first genetically modified phage cocktail to be used successfully in a human bacterial infection was published in 2019. So genetically modified phage and synthetic phage are also on the scene and being studied, because sometimes it's hard to find the perfect predator in a natural phage. And so we might need to have these genetically modified phage to be able to attack bacteria like Borrelia, which causes Lyme disease, or C. diff. Those ones are tricky. So yeah, the field is really moving quickly, and we're fundraising for a phage library so that you don't have to go from bog to bedside every time somebody needs phage, that you'll have a walk-in cooler where you could have thousands of phage to choose from. And if the bacteria becomes resistant to the phage, you can go back to that library and source new phage from it. So that's my next mission.
Well, also the compelling thing about phage, we work on different, people science. We have different clients and people that we're working with are working on metabolic psychiatry. Like there is a burst of new way of thinking, right, to kind of reimagine how we are treating all these things. It also needs the story of phage. Phage is a little hero that needs to be, or a heroine, depending on how you think of it, that story needs to be told as well, because it's a very compelling narrative about origins of the universe and, kind of what is already in amongst us naturally that can take these things out. And that's a wonderful piece of the story.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right, because, we all have heard about the microbiome, and most people would just think that that's just bacteria. But without the phage, there will be bacterial overgrowth, right? So you need to have phage in our bodies. They're already there. It's just that if you have a bacterial pathogen that's causing a problem, you need to find the right phage to wipe it out. So I envision a world where we will have phage in probiotics. Some exist right now, but to be honest, not enough research has been done to show that it's the right kind that you need to treat yourself with. But that research is coming, and it may be someday that, you bank your microbiome so that, if you have a problem with it, that you can go back and get a sample out of the freezer and treat yourself. So I think it's a very hopeful time. But we really need more advocacy and awareness about this, because the average person doesn't realize this. The superbug crisis is already here, and it's our over-reliance on meat, especially that the 70% of antibiotics are used not in medicine. They're used to treat farm animals and crops. And we need to stop doing that. We need to stop using medically important antibiotics in agriculture and farming, because that's what's promoting resistance.
Now, I'm pretty sure that Egypt is out, but
oh no,
you're going back to Egypt?
Going back.
Sure. Hey, listen, I don't have that infection. I don't have a little home for it anymore. I'd go back.
You gonna eat the fish?
Oh, I'd eat anything. I've eaten anything. I'm the guy who everybody says, will you eat this? Oh yeah. They want to bring me back to Taiwan to eat this, just to try everything.
No, we don't blame Egypt,
Well,
really.
where's the next trip? Where are you guys going?
Well, we have an annual fishing trip that we're going to Haida Gwaii, just south of Alaska.
Yeah,
And we've been going safer places lately, though, like
yeah,
Costa Rica
places
and
with
Italy.
hospital groups and
We often take Chip or our friend Davey with us. So That's
a great-
friends. So I have my
Yeah.
secret doctor weapon.
They just want a publication.
not everybody can bring their infectious disease doc with them to make sure that nothing goes wrong.
They've all got publications from this. That's the coin of the realm in our business. And they want more.
So it really has changed our lives, but
Yeah,
we're really hoping to bring this therapy to other people. And
yeah,
we've seen some really miraculous things happen. And we used to think that this is the worst thing that ever happened to us. And now we
Mhm.
see that maybe it was the reason we're on the planet.
yeah. I understand. Well, thank you so much for sharing the story. I really appreciate it. It's in these times, it's so great to hear something good. Saving a loved one is definitely an amazing thing. And I think your daughters must feel really good, and everybody must feel really good. This is a real success story.
Well, and it means that Steph has a way to get me to take out the trash.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
your life. Take out the garbage.
Yeah.
But if anybody is listening who has a superbug who wants to be evaluated, we are a nonprofit. You can contact us at IPATH. So that's IPATH at ucsd.edu. If you're interested in learning more about our story or our book, you can go to our website, theperfectpredator.com.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Take care of yourself.